So, folks, I have a little bit of an update to a story I talked about last week related to fascist race riots erupting in Northern Ireland and Belfast. And I talked a little bit about how this was related and kind of edged on by Elon Musk, and that there seemed to be some kind of connection between Elon Musk and the man who's known as Tommy Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon. Yaxley. Wild. But, I was talking about how that entire situation is completely insane, right? And some people were like, well, but how does a billionaire or now trillionaire in the United States affect policy around the world, right? Like a trillionaire existing in the United States, how does that affect UK politics? Well, this article from The Guardian that came out last week, I thought was somewhat relevant to that. And I'd missed it at the time. Tommy Robinson meets Elon Musk's father in Moscow, which, like, wild headline, right? But yeah, Tommy Robinson has traveled to Russia where he has met Elon Musk's father, Errol, in a Moscow hotel. Robinson, who's been issuing calls for his supporters to take to the streets across the UK over a bloody knife attack in Belfast, shared video of his meeting with Musk, whose son has been a vocal supporter of Robinson, on Monday. And, like, apparently Elon Musk's dad goes to the Russian-backed version of Davos, which I can't help but feel like that's like his dad is just going there as like his representative at this point, you know? It's some wild stuff. And of course, both these men are like Russia is the best when they're in Russia. Here's what Tommy Robinson had to say. I've come to see how this country got itself so well on the straight and narrow and see the beauty of a civilized society here. They've thrown like over 1 million people into a meat grinder war of expansion. Like, which, by the way, they're losing, apparently. The Ukraine has been able to take back territory in an ever advancing fashion. That they've been able to take back more territory than Russia has been making gains on. It's the fact that they've been fought to a standstill. Well, Ukraine has then developed longer range capabilities that are now disrupting supply lines farther and farther inside of Russia. Like, the idea that you would currently go to Russia to see how a great country is run, that's really, really bizarre to me. Like, people in the UK really tend to put Tommy Robinson on like this on the far right in the UK. Put Tommy Robinson on this pedestal as if he's just like some great patriot who loves the UK. And it's just like, dude's going over to Russia talking about how well Russia is run by a goddamn dictator. Like, he's a traitor to any kind of idea of democracy. And it's I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting, right? And I think it's pretty interesting that this happens as well alongside Andrew Tate being in Russia. Like, a lot of these far right figures are all like connected, and they are drawn by the allure of money. Like, that is all this is, right? Like, this is a way of Russia to basically spread its influence and to get its oligarchs to funnel money into different conservative content creators across the world in order to further their different geopolitical ends. It's basically a less subtle version of what happened with Dave Root. What was that? The I forget what it was called with the what's his name? Art Vandelay. The guy who came and approached like Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, a bunch of conservatives in order. Tenant Media, thank you, run by Art Vandelay. Like, it's just another op for Russia to wield influence, right? And the fact that Elon Musk is involved in this, both by vocally and publicly supporting Tommy Robinson, while also having his father, have a private meeting with Tommy Robinson, like, I think it should be deeply disturbing to everybody on the planet that there is a man with $1 trillion who is willing to support both materially and, vocally, a far-right, like, white supremacist who advocates for, essentially racial pogroms. Like, that's deeply disturbing. And it doesn't take that much imagination to, like, take a beat and realize what can happen when someone with $1 trillion financially backs the actions of someone who is calling for ever bigger pogroms against minorities in their country. We've seen it happen multiple times, not even in distant history, right? Like in modern history, right? And so all of this to say, I think what we are witnessing in both the United States and the UK right now, and has been also occurring largely in Hungary over the last, decade plus, is the effect of mass concentrations of wealth in the hands of a very few number of people. Because what winds up happening is they're testing out their abilities, they're testing out their powers. How much money does it take to really move the needle on different policies? How much money does it take to buy a president? How much money does it take? And what are the kind of kickbacks we can get from doing this? What do you do when you have all the money in the world and nobody likes you? Probably use that money to force people to like you, or at least force people to publicly say they like you. Like, I know it's very easy to be like, Elon Musk has $1 trillion and nobody likes him. But, like, that's not where that ends, right? Where it ends is someone weaponizing their fortune to try and force obedience or to force fear. Because if they can't control you via love, they seek to control you via fear. And so that, I think, is a big deal. And I think we need to be organizing basically nonstop in order to stop the worst case scenario, the worst, most malignant dreams from Elon Musk's mind from becoming realities. I encourage you all, if you are worried, as I am worried, about the future of where this all could go, join your local Dems, join your local DSA. And if you need help to do that, we got people in this community who can help you sign up, help you get connected, help you get to those meetings, and give you great advice on how to, act when you're there in order to further the cause, right? So join your local Dems, join your local DSA. If you need help, join our Discord, reach out to GamerG for help with your local DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems, and you can also check out Progressive Victory to directly tie yourself into any number of campaigns for left-wing candidates across the country. So go check that out. And last but not least, folks, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, and also leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this concentration of wealth and these connections coming to light and becoming more and more blatant. I know I said last but not least already, but last but not least for real this time, check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy lingerie that's non-tucking. Go check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com, link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.